In a news conference, US President Joe Biden predicted that any Russian troop movements across Ukraine's border would constitute an invasion and warned that Moscow would pay a heavy price for such an action.
But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine, and that our allies and partners are ready to impose severe cost and significant harm on Russia and the Russian economy. In addition to that, Putin has a stark choice. He either de-escalation or diplomacy, confrontation of the consequences.
Biden sought to clarify his remarks at the start of the meeting at the White House on domestic policy after a criticism from Republican lawmakers and Ukrainian officials that Biden's comments had invited limited military action by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Biden's comments came as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken prepared to meet in Geneva with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to ease tensions. However, the latter is likely to fail.
The two things he said to me that he wants guarantees on. One is Ukraine will never be part of NATO. And two, that NATO there will not be strategic weapons stationed in Ukraine. Well, we can work out something on the second piece, pretending what he does along the Russian line as well, the Russian border in the European area.
Joe Biden stressed the need to be prepared for cyber attacks, gray zone attacks and actions by Russian soldiers not wearing their uniforms, as he claims that Russia has a long history of using measures other than direct military action to invade. The conference was the latest White House effort to emphasize Biden's comments he made a day earlier, suggesting that a minor incursion by Russia into Ukraine territory could result in a more measured response by the United States and its allies.
Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has hit back at comments made by the President Joe Biden about a minor incursion by Russia into his country, as he tweeted, "We want to remind the great powers that there are no minor incursions and small nations, just as there are no minor casualties and little grief from the loss of loved ones. I say this as President of a great power." The news conference came at a critical moment in Europe as Russia has amassed troops near the Ukrainian border and a series of talks in Europe last week failed to ease tensions.